Okay, well, whoops, that's better. Okay, well, I'm just gonna be making a 45 tonner. I've already started and I'm almost done actually, so I'm just really trying to do the bogies right now and all the stuff underneath. But yep. But whenever I'm making a model in Blender, what I like to do is just imagine the basic shape of that object. So like right here, I see that you have the little, I don't even know what that is, but you know, you get the you see the basic shape of it, and so I'm thinking, well, that could be a cube. So, and there's also this little, like, where it attaches to right here, that's also could be a cube. So then you take your basic shape and start, you know, shaping it into whatever shape it needs to be. And in this case, it's that, I don't even know what to call it, it's the thing. So yeah. This is probably going to be pretty boring, since I was planning on doing it with someone else, but they're not here yet. They might come soon, I don't know. But for now, it's just me, and I'm not that very talkative, so. But you get to watch me make a 45 tonner. So if you guys have any questions, then, yeah. Hello, Vermilion Railfan. But having a look at some reference pictures of the 45 tonner I'm trying to make. Yeah, this is probably not going to be too interesting, like I said earlier, but it's a thing. Man. Oh yeah. Do you want to get into VC? Because we can if you want. I don't know if you're in my server, let me check. Yeah, I don't think you are. But I can invite you to my server and we can get into VC if you want. Because as you can tell, I'm not very interesting, but Alright. Well, looks like the person I was going to help with Blender, that's why it's decided to stream. He's gonna be here around 6 Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern time, so it'll be a while, but yeah, I have no clue what to say. But actually pretty excited to make this because if you don't know, I am making this for my museum, that I'm making in the North Carolina Transportation Museum. So that should be pretty cool. It's starting to look pretty good, in my opinion. I might do that later on. Actually, you know what? I'll just do that right now since my friend isn't here yet. And then we can get to 3D modeling once he gets here. So. I gotta get this in a good position and then save. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yep, just go. Actually, I'll leave that open. Give me a second. I need to switch screens real quick. I've never streamed before, so. Alright, there we go. Yeah, this is what I want. Alright. Yeah, actually, we'll take a look at this real quick. I don't have everything downloaded, so it's not complete, but this is a route Tindog did for USA Trains, my website, and it looks pretty good so far. It's actually almost done. Well, I think he said he is done. He just needs to make sure everything works and stuff. And you know, I don't have all the dependencies downloaded, so it is a 19 only route, though. But yeah, it looks pretty good. It's a small 2 baseboard little thing. I don't know if that's my game or I don't know, because I don't know. But yeah. that will be coming soon to USA Trains. But anyways, let's go to my route. Alright, so this is the... Actually, over here is the North Carolina Transportation Museum. As you can see, I've barely done anything yet, but that will change. Well, I started over here so I could, because I'm trying to use new assets than St. Charles Taylor's Trail, because I felt like that was just a bit bland, so... Now I'm starting to, and Blind Grass is just better, honestly, in my opinion. I like it. And then I also use some of these JVC bush spline thing, JVC grass spline, and the JVC grass and shrub spline. It's number 6 if anyone needs those. Oh, I'm in the VC on my Discord. Hang on, let me get you an invite. Give me a second. There you go. Oh, thank you, Nick. Yeah, I actually like the way it feels too. I got some actual... I've just been learning. The St. Charles Taylor's Trail, I'm thinking about just releasing it as a module just because I like it, but it's just a lot of... I mean, I started it when I just got trains, so it's not the best work for me. But the yard that I have there is like ginormous. In fact, actually, I'll show that as well. And I think Nick is actually in my server if he wants to. Oh fuck, I invited you to the wrong server. That is... Okay, wait. Okay, there you go. Thank you for the compliments. Yeah, I'd like 19, but that's probably just because that's what I've started with. You can see this is... That's one of the scenes that I like. But... As you can see, this is why I don't want to build the whole route, because I only have 3 small scenes done. This is probably the most done just because that's where I started. It's also very laggy because there's a bunch of speed trees and my ground textures are messed up because PBR, if you don't keep them all the same scale, then it just messes everything up. And so I tried to copy and paste textures, and it turns out in one of my copy and pastes, as you can see, had a texture that wasn't the right scale, so that really messed me up. Oh wait, hang on. Okay, there we go. Now you should be able to join. But it's also very laggy because there's stuff, lots of stuff. It's not that much, but apparently it's probably with all the trees, because when I was building this there was barely any lag, and then I added the trees and it just started lagging. So but yeah, oh, there you are. There was barely. So, hang on, I think my sound is messed up, or I just can't hear
I speak.
Okay, there you are. Oh.
Hello.
Hello. So, what do you think so far? Oh, that was loud. But I was planning on releasing each one of these like scenes that I've completed as separate modules. Oh god, that was loud. But
I was not prepared for this.
But so far, this over here is my favorite area on this route because it's actually not that bad. And this is where I started to learn how to use assets. But this is just a ginormous yard, and if you go over here, you have some locomotive shops, and this is over here is storage. And yep. Oh. So we have these two scenes. I'd release that stone module, that is its own module, and that is its own module, but I haven't really worked on that lately. So anyways, let's get to work on the hang on. Okay, so anyways, yeah, I like how it's turning out. Looking pretty good in my opinion. I actually really like this area because you have some. I just like how it fades through the bushes to the smaller bushes to the bigger bushes, and then trees. But this industry is going to be hard to replicate. let me stream Google Earth real quick. Hang on. Alright, there we go. So over here, this is what I'm trying to do. So unless I want to make my own building, which I could, but I kind of don't want to since it's just an industry over here, I might just have to, like, completely change it. Actually, I just downloaded some new assets, so let's see. They were the SAP old industry building, yeah. SAP has some good stuff, not just buildings, but just in general. Oh yeah, that's actually really nice. I don't know if I'll be able to use any of this over here though. But it's still really nice stuff. Oh, you're fine, Vermilion. Just gotta see if any of these would work for... Because right now, the way it is, this, it looks like it goes over the tracks in the road, but I can't find something like that, so... I mean, I could just... You know what I might do? I might just make the industry later. Because, yeah, I'm gonna do that. At least like this own little building right here. Because that'll just be a nice building to have in general. So... But what I've been trying to do is layer the grass and bushes and trees and stuff. So you can see the layers. You have grass, and then you have the JVC bushes, you have the STRMM bushes, and then I tried to put the smaller trees like this over here, like in the, to like cover the gap between the bushes and the bigger trees. So like that, I tried to cover that up. That worked pretty well in some places, and so if we go over here, I have a thing that I can copy and paste. I have the bushes, that tree is just there, and then the big trees, and then the small trees. And I took that tree out, I think, because it stood out way too much for... Oh, I just realized, whoops. Let me fix that. Well, that was embarrassing, but as you can see right here, you got little bushes, little trees, and then big trees. So, yeah, over here I was in the process of putting down the smaller trees, and yeah. So I'm just gonna copy and paste some big trees. But anyways, my plan for this route is I have a lot of locomotives that I'm going to want to make. I've already made, you know, you saw the 45 tonner. I was going to make the 44 tonner, which I actually have. I'll show that once my friend gets here, but 44 tonner, 45 tonner, and a 25 tonner. So with all that, I was thinking about either making the route paper or the locomotives payware. So depending on how good I feel like I did on the locomotives, that's gonna probably decide that. Because they're actually my first locomotives I made, so I'm not sure if I will make them payware. Although, you know, I've gotten good feedback from a lot of people, so. But I'll also be making custom cab, custom sounds, and stuff like that, so I just feel like, you know, it should be payware. And I'm not gonna make it anything, you know, crazily expensive. In fact, I was thinking about doing different packs of the tonners, so like I would have a 25 tonner to, you know, probably 45 tonner pack, and it would just have a pack. It would just have each ton of locomotives, so it'd have a 25 tonner and whatever other tonners there are up to a 45 tonner. So just think about that. Or I don't really know. But either way, I'd make a pack like that and sell it for $5 to $10. And I think that's a pretty fair deal. You know, you're getting like pretty high quality. I wouldn't say, well, actually, no, I wouldn't say high, but you know, I mean, there's no 45 tonner, 44 tonner, or anything like that in the game yet. So, but anyways, it's pretty. I'm just painstakingly putting down the grass, but. Yeah, I'm probably going to. I kind of feel like 3D modeling, so I might just go over in 3D model anyways. It's just, I feel like that's more boring than this. But also, I notice a lot of people don't have 19, so I was thinking of, since not a lot of people have 19, maybe making the route freeware to make it, I don't know where I was going with that, but either way, something is going to be better. I think, I'm not sure, but I'm actually pretty excited to get over to the museum. In fact, I've already made a building and a firework, but this generic storehouse, I still think I might change. I'm probably gonna have to change the resolution, because, you know, I just should, but I think it looks pretty good. And this is the generic version. It goes right over here. I'm gonna make 2 versions of like each building. Let me go back to Google Maps real quick, or Google Earth, sorry. I'm gonna make like 2 versions of each building. One is going to be, so like, in this case, let's say the roundhouse, there's a bunch of stuff inside. For the museum, it has like, hang on, I might be able to show you. But yeah, if you go inside, there's a lot of, you can see there's a, that looks like a model train of some sort, and there's just a lot of random stuff in here, and so I'd make 2 versions, one that had all this stuff in there, and that was specific for this museum, and then one that was just, you know, a generic turntable, and then, you know, so like the back shops, I would do the back shops, and then I would also do just a generic shop, which, you know, that way people aren't stuck with stuff that's made for a museum. Alright. So, hang on, okay, how do I upload a 3D model? Give me a second, this is probably gonna be annoying. Okay, not. Yeah, my friend's ready. Okay, so how do you upload, I'll actually show you that. It won't be that in depth, but it'll give you the idea. So, actually, let me close this, actually. Oh, alright, there we go. Hey, Ronnie. So, we're going to Yeah, I'm gonna start streaming Blender and then. Alright. So, when you're uploading a 3D model, what you want to do is you want to make sure you're in object mode, select whatever you want to export. So I would, select the 45 tonner in this case. Then you want to go to File, Export, FBX, and some of the main things that like really messed me up when I was starting is the biggest thing was I didn't get these right, the transform. So you want to just keep the scale where it is, and then apply scaling in FBX unit scale. And then you want to make forward, whatever forward would be. In my case, it's X. Oops. X. And then C is up, in my case. Then that's just what I was taught. Just do that. And these are the setting. Oh, wait. Now you also want to do selected object. And then you want to do empty, armature, and mesh. And then that should be good. And then you export FBX. And then gonna have to switch screens here. Actually, wait. Alright. Okay, so anyways, once you have your model exported, make sure it works. And, obviously you want to have it UV mapped and textured and all that. And so once that's done, there's this thing, it's called, give me a second. No, I'm just gonna share my whole screen. Does that work? Doesn't look like it, so hang on. Okay, you know what? Okay, you can listen from the stream. I was just showing someone how to export, but basically, I think it's content utilities. You can download it somewhere, and then then you just you have to put in the QID what you want it to be, and make sure it's not a QID that you already have something. And then once you do that, you export it. It puts it in its own file. Then you just drag and drop that file into trains, and then that should be good. And then you might also have to fix a few errors, but sorry, I have to. This isn't working so well. Alright, here we are. So I'm gonna teach. Yeah, no, I'm getting that fixed. So Ronnie says he wants to make a bus, so we're gonna try and make a bus once this starts working. Alright, there we go. Now, also the stream is delayed, Ronnie, so you can just mute the stream if you want, and then I'll screen share. That might make it easier. Anyways, I guess I'm gonna get started, so you guys can whoa, lightning. Okay. Anyways, you guys can follow along at home or whatever, but the first thing you want to do, depending on what you're making, is you want to find either dimensions or a diagram. So in this case, since we're trying to make a bus, wait, let me stream for Ronnie real quick. Okay, there we go. Now, since we are going to be making a bus, yep, let me look up a diagram, and then you, what you do with the diagram is you import it into Blender and stuff like that. So let me find a bus diagram first real quick. Okay. I think I found something. Okay, this might work. Yeah, this works. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to save image as. I know you guys can't see this, but just try and follow along as best as you can. And I like putting it in a folder that, you know, I'll know to look in. So we'll just call this school bus, and then just save the image and then go to Blender. And then once you're in Blender, go to Add, Image, Reference, and then Tutorial, more lightning, school bus. There. Oh, also another thing I forgot to mention. You're gonna, on the top right, it says use preset viewpoint thing, whatever this is. You're gonna want to click on X and Okay, I think I fixed it. Yeah, I did. Alright, that's good. Alright. So... anyways, what I was trying to say is... the first thing you want to do once you get your diagram is you want to make sure that it's not skewed. And if it is, rotate it back to, you know. And also, you want to be in your X view. I can't remember if I already said that, but you want to be in your X view. And then you want to put the thing down. And then make sure it's rotated correctly. But once you do that, since X, generally you want that to be forward, we need to, you know, obviously that's the front, and we have to center it with the center, because it's going to be facing forward that way. So, some diagrams have its centering lines, I guess you call them, but basically, you know, you can tell where that is. But one thing I like to do, simply just add a cube, and then scale that down till it's about the width of the actual thing, and also I use the scale tool. All these on the side, I'll be using those for now. But anyways, now I'm on my move tool and just move that. And also if you press Shift Z, that turns the cube into wire. It makes it go wireframe mode. So that sometimes helps if you need to see through something, obviously. But anyways, in this case, since you know you can see that line there, we don't really need to mess with trying to get that even. So anyways, Shift Z, click back on this, delete that since we don't need to be using that. Here, since we aren't going to be using that, and then since this already has all the rotations and everything, and the correct, like, you know, rotation or whatever, because you know it's skewed, and now we have it like this, and it's the correct height. We can, if you press Shift D, and then you know you see your second one, don't click anything. Well, right click, and then all that does is reset it to its original position, and that's how the thing works for a lot of things. So then let's go to our, that's like, I guess you'd call that negative Y since that's Y, but we want to go over here because that's where this diagram is facing. Pretty sure it flips on the other side, so yeah, we can still use that. Also, I think I'm going to end the stream pretty soon just because there's lightning and I don't want my computer to get struck, because I've actually had lightning murder one of my computers, and then I didn't have a computer forever, so it wasn't fun. But anyways, oh, also what I did there, all I did was get my rotate tool and rotate it around, and yep. And so it's already the right height, it's already rotated, don't have to worry about it being skewed. And yep. So now that we have those two, oh, it's one more. It also has a top. Oh, actually, I forgot one very important step. So Control Z, all that. It's your best friend. You want to make sure it's the right scale. So I have no clue what this bus is using. Maybe it's millimeters. Hang on, I have to look this up. I'm just gonna. What am I supposed to look up? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that millimeters or what? It's definitely not feet. Hang on, I'm just gonna look up 405 millimeters to inches. 15 inches. Okay, it's definitely not millimeters. Meters to feet. Oh, how many? I feel like it's not gonna be that either, but it's 405. Okay, that's, yeah, no. I'm just, yeah, okay, see, sometimes you have to do this. Just look up. I've done this before with, like, doors. Just look up the, like, average door height, you know, or average, what's it called? Average store height, average house height, something like that. So anyways, I'm just gonna look up average bus length, I guess. See what comes up. Or average school bus length, there we go. 20 to 45 feet. Okay, well, okay, it says, okay, so the mid-size category is 25 to 35, so, actually, if I just look up average height, because we know, alright, so about 10, it should be about 10 feet high, so that's all we need to know. So now, we go over here, okay, top right, you have your measure. Put that down. Measure. Okay. Give me some. Yeah, you have to hold. You have to hold it down. But I'm gonna do it over there because that's the tallest point. Get that. So that's 8 meters. Not gonna do the math to convert that. But anyways, so if you go over here to scene properties, you can change your units. So that's scene properties, units. Kind of bottom right. Then you can change your unit system to none. I don't know why I do want that. Metric or imperial. So, imperial. So you can see that's only 2 feet. So, we're going to scale this up quite a bit. So just scale that up. And get my ruler. And the first few measurings and scalings don't have to be that accurate. But anyways, that, and try this, it's really just trial and error. And also, everything I do is probably not the best way to do it. It's just how I do it, and it's enough to get you by. Alright, man, this is taking a while. Also, if you're wondering, Ronnie couldn't get Blender 2.8 to work, so that's why he is not here. But okay, see, now that's too big, so you just have to fiddle around with it. Okay, that could be about it. Yeah, okay, so that's 11 feet, and so Google says 11.5 feet. Okay, so apparently it's also about 12 feet across, or no, it's about 8 to 9 feet across, including the mirrors, I think. So actually, I'm gonna scale that down a little bit. Also, another little tip is, if you're in this mode, when you hold control, it's a lot, bigger of a jump, I guess you could call it. The grid's a lot bigger. But if you go into this mode and zoom in a little bit, you have a lot more control. Anyways. Alright, so 8 to 9 feet. Still too big. Actually, okay, so it's that, okay, it's not going to be a perfect bus, but this is actually pretty close. So once you have your basic shape, what you want to do is okay. So now you have your you have your diagram. It's scaled correctly. It's not skewed or anything. It's at the right rotation. So now, okay, now we have to, since we scaled it up, I recommend scaling first. But I didn't because I forgot about that part. So anyways, you want to recenter it. You can add a cube. I did this when my mic was broken, so anyways, add your cube. This just makes it so it's easier to center, but use your scale tool and scale it to about the width of it, and then you just move the diagram until it's in the right position, centered with the cube. And I guess we can start from here actually with this cube. Well, actually, you know what? Before we do that, actually, just delete that cube. Next thing you want to do is Shift D. That duplicates anything. So I have that duplicated, and instead of adding the image again, trying to rescale it and rotate it, just duplicate your diagram. It makes it a lot easier. And now we can rotate that this way. So that way is forward now, because we have it this way. So now, because that way is forward because it's X and all that. So now we want to try and center the length of the bus. So add a mesh cube and then try not to move it that way, which I just did, but okay, that's actually already pretty close. So move this over a little bit. Then yeah, that's about it. So okay, now we can start from here. Before we start, I guess we'll just center this from this way as well. Before we start, some diagrams, not all diagrams, like some diagrams this is all you get. You just get the X and Y. But this diagram is actually pretty good. Gives you the X, negative X, the Y, and the Z. So that means we can duplicate this 4 times and get 4 angles of, whatever you want to call it, So I'm gonna rotate it this way and try and get the rear. Actually, no. I don't think you would have had to rotate that. But anyways, we want to try and keep it not backwards so you can see before the text was flipped. So I just flipped it back around. And now I'm gonna do it from this angle so I can, no I'm not. Actually, let me scoot this up there. So now we can line it up with what we had before. At least to the best of our ability. Yeah, there we go, this way. And also we need to move it up so we can, get the rear instead of the front. And then move it over. Okay, now we're gonna have to scale this to make sure that this is correct. So now you have that. And once you have that, I'm just gonna move this in a little bit closer to the other one to take out, so it doesn't block your vision so much. And now, since we have those two, we might as well add in the C. So Shift D, right click, move it up a bit. You're gonna rotate this way and this way. Then we're gonna lower it below the cube so I can get it in position. And then this one should be pretty easy since it's already... everything else is already scaled, right? So we just have to move the diagram into place. And sometimes it does, sometimes it's not a perfect fit, so just keep that in mind. But anyways, now we have diagrams and our, I wouldn't call it basic shape, but we have a cube. So now what we can do, actually no, I'm going to delete this cube because I've had troubles before where if you scale it before you go into edit mode and bevel it, which we'll learn about later, it just does weird stuff. So anyways, also you want to make sure not to get this backwards. Like, you don't want to start modeling the door on this side because that means that that would be the left side. The door would be on the left side, so we don't want that. But anyways, let's go back in here. So you can move in everything in object mode. I just have had problems with scaling it. But it may not even be that. That's just what I did before it happened. So also apparently this is actually... that's not, because that's okay. Yeah, we're fine. So now we can, if you press tab, or you can pick that drop down, you go to edit mode. Then up here there's three noticeable things. Hang on. Okay, so once you have your cube, there's three things right here. So you have vertex select, which you can see you have all the vertices, and you can select each specific vertice. And if you get your move tool, you can move it around with the arrows in X, Y, and Z. Or if you click in the center, you can just move it around like this. So also you have your edge select, which selects the edges, and like I said before, move it around. Then you have face select, which selects faces, and so that is useful, or that's an alternative to scaling. So like right here, I'm gonna grab this, move that up to there, and then we're going to drag that out to there. Drag this out to about here. I'm gonna do it to about... I'll do it all the way. You have to think about how you're gonna make your model, and so that's what I was doing right there. It took me a while to, think about what I wanted to do. Also, another thing, you can scale in edit mode fine. So just gonna scale that up. Go back to this view, and move the roof up to the roof, and then now you have your basic shape. But so now that you have your basic shape, we're going to add in some what's it called, some bevels. Yeah, sorry. Basically what bevels are, I'll just show you actually, because I suck at explaining things. But so I like going into edge select for this, because if you go over here, what we're going to try and do is, see how that my actual object is flat but the roof is curved. So we're going to go into edge select, and I like doing it from this way because it's easier, and you're going to want to come here anyways and just do that, because that's where that edge is. And you can see all that's doing is this, just grabbing these, and you could do it manually, but it's a lot easier from here, and you're going to want to go into this view anyways. And remember, I'm just doing Shift C to make it invisible so I can see the diagram. So then we want to drag this out, and you can see it curves, but one of the problems is right now it's just going wherever it wants to. So what I've done before is if you go to loop cut, and then you have to hover over the middle of the object and then just right click, or no, left click, sorry, edge slide, and then you can slide that edge up. And so I'm going to slide it up to about right here. That way, when I bevel my edges, also make sure you have loop slide on. Forgot to mention that. So that way when you bevel your edges, it just stops at the edge. So now you can also, what I'm doing right here, there's two ways of doing it. You can do this and then just drag up. Or you can do Control B and it already has it in your hand. And then also, all I'm doing to add segments is what they're called. You can, automatically do it up here where my cursor's trying to be. Or you can just scroll up, which is what I do. Because, not every bevel is going to have the same, you're not going to want to always have the same amount of segments. So anyways, after you have that and you're happy with your shape, just left click. And also, another thing to mention is that it's not always going to be exactly how it's going to be. So what I like to do is I go into vertex select sometimes. And so let's just say I want to move these to the left for some reason. So instead of doing this and then trying to go to the other side and try and move it the exact same, what you can do is you can select these two, go right here and select the same two. Go to scale, and then those just move out the exact same. And the reason I'm in vertex select instead of edge select, because if you go into edge select, it's harder to see the you can't really see without going into this mode, which isn't great because it's just faster this way. So, and that's how I do it. You can do it whatever way you want. And I'm just gonna go and tab and check out the shape. And also, if you go into the top right, you can hide all your diagrams. And right now it's not much, but it's a thing. Alright, so you see how well, the edges are rough, you can see that. So if we Control Z back to where we have everything selected, well, actually, we can go even farther back to where before we bevel. If you bevel, one way to make it smooth, which I don't recommend at all, is adding a bunch of segments. And even then, sometimes it's not enough. But you can see, the more you add, if you look at the bottom right, the more vertices you have, where it says vertem, that means it's going to have more polys, and it's going to slow down your game. So, what you do, I have to bevel it again, but anyways, so you bevel, get the basic shape with, as few, with as few segments as possible. Then you have to go into face select, and I go on to this view because we want to select these faces. So you want to select all those. And then you want to right click, and you want to go to shade smooth, and so what that does is if you press tab, it makes it smooth. And also you can see how different it is to, this below it, which is not shaded smooth. And one way to fix that is if you go to bottom right, the blue wrench, modifier properties or whatever, add modifier, there is edge split modifier, and you can see it's still not perfect, but it's better than it was before. And also another thing I like to do once I get to this point is, well, for one thing, I might as well save it. And it actually does autosave for you, so that's nice. But I still go to school bus. If I can, okay, apparently I can't go to left. Okay, there we go. And I always like calling it AMM because that's what my name is and like everything. So AMM generic school bus. Save Blender file, and now that's saved. But also, you go into object mode by pressing tab again, and you see this little thing, that's your camera. So if you press F12, that brings up, or I can't really, actually no, I can't stream it. So if you press F12, let me get that up. Okay, yeah, F12. It brings up this, which for right now just looks like this because I haven't moved the camera. But basically, what it does is it shows you what it looks like when it's rendered. So that just lets you see what it could look like. It's going to look like. So I'm gonna drag that out first and then move it up, and then you can just keep on messing with it. So F12 again, so you can see that's way too high. Actually, I can't because I need to hide that. Okay, well, yeah, there. You can see how the camera's still too high. So I'm just gonna get to the right thing on my own, but you guys just keep experimenting at home. And so bring that down, F12, and sometimes you have to drag it out quite a lot. Move it up. You probably can't see it, but I'm just pressing F12 every time I move it. So you just want to keep, and sometimes this probably is a not very efficient way of doing it, because I know on some computers it can take forever to render something, but since mine's good enough, I just do that way because I can. Probably a better way, but anyways, once you have that like that, or however you want it, let's share my Blender render. Give it a second. Okay, you can see that it's actually, you can see the whole thing now. So now you can just, if you want to see how your model's looking, you can just press F12. So now that we have our basic shape, I think that's where I'm going to leave it off, because there's lightning, and yeah, I don't want to have my computer die. So I'll see you guys. Oh, actually, before I go, okay, wait, never mind. Alright, well, I'll see you guys.